Cookie the snake slithered out of her cave, taking in the heat of the artificial light above her. She looked around her glass cage, taking in the surroundings of her synthetic biome. The food rock was perfectly in place, her cave was pristine, just as it always was, the sand was warm, and the tiny tree was as green as it could be, providing some shade for whenever the need would arise. She always made sure that everything was as perfect as it could be, just like her father did. Every piece of waste and every other tiny useless material was pushed to the far end of the cage and ready to be taken into the garbage. Content with her surroundings, she curled up to bask in the warm light, the only thing keeping her company being her own thoughts. Where was Father? It was unlike him to be gone for such a long period of time. She was hungry, so her hopes were placed on Father returning soon. He always said that things were rather hectic for him, but she saw no reason to be angry by Father's excuses. She could tell with a mere glimpse if he was angry or anxious, and lately he had been tired. Anxiety and stress were visible in his eyes, and he had not been spending as much time with Cookie as he used to. The snake's thoughts were interrupted as the door slid open with a hiss. She looked up, expectant. "Father." She straightened herself and looked at the figure that walked into the room. Father had arrived, yet he was missing his armored faceplate. He walked over to Cookie's cage and leant down, smiling. "Who's a good cookie?" he asked, his expression tired, yet somewhat relaxed. All Cookie did was probe the air with her tongue, looking into the man's eyes. "I brought you something," he said, reaching into one of his pockets and retrieving a small bag, from which he produced a piece of meat. It was larger than those she had been given before, which made Cookie happy. She knew that it was always hard for him to get her food, so the fact that he had taken the trouble to pick up a larger piece of meat meant much to her. Cookie watched as he placed the meat on the food rocks, ready to be consumed. Before doing so, however, she had to show her gratitude, so she reached up and snuggled her father's nose, causing him to smile and let out a relaxed sigh. Father stepped away from Cookie's cage, walking over to his desk and sitting down on the chair next to it. Before eating the piece of meat, Cookie decided to observe her father for a few moments. She had to show him that she cared about him, and that he was not solely a source of food. She watched as he opened up the holographic computer of his desk. Going over several screens, she caught glimpses of photos, diaries, recorded messages, and various other forms of miscellaneous information. "This is Infantry Commander Jack Silverback, second in command of the USS Vector. It's been 2 months since I recorded the first part of this log, and I am both happy and worried to say that we have found many answers to my previous questions." I looked over at Cookie. "I believe my cybernetically enhanced snake Cookie is the only thing keeping me sane right now. To start with, today I was overseeing one of the routine medical checks, and the augmentee Atlas was there. Some curious troopers pushed the bastard into the line, and it tried to contact the Admiral in a pitiful attempt to bail out, though I didn't allow that. We forced it into the scanner, and we were dumbfounded with what we saw. 4 lungs, 3 hearts. The skeletal structure of the left arm is metal rather than bone, and its skull is reinforced with titanium. All of that only adds to the fact that it is as strong as a trooper in an exosuit. It's a mutant. So that makes 2 things that are wandering around the ship. A mutant and an android. Both of them things that shouldn't even exist. How does the Admiral even allow them on the ship? This is worthy of an execution. Additionally, there is a raider, Taurus. I have managed to pull up some basic records regarding her. It seems that she's an ex-convict who was in the line for the Crimson Guard due to insubordination, and she was pulled out of the prison planet Ironwatch by the Admiral. He does have the authority to do so after all, but what's the purpose behind such a thing? I'm beginning to think that he's purposely keeping away from the USC. He must be scared of the execution. But there's still got to be more to this. Where did the mutant and the android come from? How exactly are they tied to the Admiral? I'm going to put as much effort as I can into finding out. Silverback out.